Hello, hello. Welcome to Crazy Games. We are back in Genshin Impact. We are gonna continue the Archon Quest today. Archon Quest Chapter 4, Act 5, Masquerade of the Guilty, Apocalypse. Find Furina in Poisson. The prophecy shall inevitably come to fruition, and the plans are all in place. All that's left is to judge a god. So yeah, we've apparently set up a trap. We really did nothing. We just walked around getting the opinions of people in Fontaine here and there. Actually, not even the people, just like two people in Fontaine. One Melusine lady, Sedine, and Charlotte. That's only what we asked. But then everyone else, the House of Hearth kids, Clorinde, Navia, Neuvillette, they've put together a trap to get Furina to a specific position or somewhere so that they can kind of corner her and press her about information about like the prophecy and whatnot. And yeah, that's what we're going to be getting into today, I hope.
This place looks deserted. Guess all the survivors must have evacuated already. All that's left here are signs of devastation. Could Furina really be here? Let's try to find her as soon as possible.
Sounds good. Please, friends, stay. It is not the time to go to Poisson, so please come back. I see. Yup, the water has been unstable these days, so it's best if you leave. If you just leave quickly. You can't tell me what to do, Buster. So yeah, I guess the plan was, even though it happened off screen and we didn't have any hand to it, was during one of the operas, Furina was attending one of the operas that she was attending. During an intermission, they would start getting the crowd to harass her until she gets so upset that she would try and escape. And yeah, we predicted that she would try and escape here. And yeah, and now we found her.
That's Furina, right over there. She really is here all on her own.
Oh, she's in her long hair, white bottom. She's wearing like a white dress or white shorts. Version of her, so she's aligned to Numa right now. Shh, stay quiet for now. We're gonna have to jump her.
Should I just give up? This is all meaningless. What was meant to happen did happen after all. Everyone's dead.
Oh no, she's crying. Oh, we gotta help her.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Give up, Furina. There's no point in holding out.
Oh, Furina, huh?
I'm sorry.
Tell us what's going on,
But
please.
what can I even do other than to repeat meaningless apologies over and over?
Furina?
Who's that?
It is I, the Traveler, and Paimon.
Don't worry, Furina, it's just us.
We brought you cake from Sumeri.
So it is you, blonde traveler from another land. Why, I almost thought you were someone from that mob of my ignorant subjects, come to kneel and beg for my forgiveness.
Furina, you were crying just now, weren't you? The tear stains on your face are obvious.
Well, it's just raining, okay?
What do you mean, tear stains? Oh, I remember. The show at the Opera House earlier this morning was so moving. I'm still trying to process it.
You don't have to put up a front in front of us, Furina. We've dealt with emotional Archons before, and they're actually one of our best friends now.
Who did that uncivilized rabble think they were, disturbing my enjoyment of the arts? They even dare to tout their Archon. I must teach them a lesson. I can just imagine their twisted and frustrated faces once they realize that I'm nowhere to be found. Oh, and I'm sure Neuvillette and those people from the Marish Chaussee Phantom are freaking out right next to them, too.
Stop trying to act tough, Furina. You're actually beyond devastated right now, aren't you?
Of course not.
Hey, there she is! The Hydro Archon's over there!
Get her!
Quick, after her!
Yum.
Furina, those people seem to be after you.
They are. They're just some rabid fans who want to cut the line because they haven't been able to meet me in person, aren't they?
I think it's time to run, Furina.
That's against the rules. I can't let them get their way.
Are you gonna kill them? Torn to oblivion.
Furina just ran off.
After her.
Quick, we have to catch up with her.
Okay. Oh. Yum. Run faster, Furina. Float faster, Paimon. Oh, where did she go? Oh, I don't know. Must have been just the wind.
This should be the place, right? Hey, Furina! There's a good hiding spot over here. Quick, come to Paimon before the rest of them catch up to you.
What is this place?
This is the trap. This is the place where we laid the trap.
Hurry, they're almost here.
Fine. I suppose haste is warranted. Lead the way.
Little do you know, we are gonna lead you into a trap of ours, where we will feed you cake forever.
Paimon's exhausted.
And now we have the Hydro Archon all to ourselves in a place where no one can hear you scream.
I'm so tired. I totally thought they had caught me. No, I mean, I merely gave in to the sheer enthusiasm they displayed.
This place is not what I'd call soundproof. You might want to lower your voice and to stay hidden.
You're right.
Yep, that's a good girl.
No, the waters.
What's happening? The ground's shaking. Is it an earthquake?
Another disaster just struck, I suspect.
Yeah, a quake of this kind preceded the flooding in Poisson, didn't it?
It can't be. It's happening again.
Well, there's no need to worry too much about that. Neuvillette's made some emergency plans, so the evacuation should go a lot smoother this time.
Yeah, I hope you're right. But the people of Poisson,
They're already dissolved into the Oceanid. Has Furina finally reached her limit? Now that she's talking about her actual feelings, she's starting to look far less stiff. You begin to talk amongst yourselves as Furina slowly calms down.
It's true. I've been investigating the prophecy for hundreds of years. I once had informants all over Tevat, searching for clues and feeding information back to me. I've tried all kinds of ways, too, to hold back the sea. Anything to keep the coastline from advancing. But all my efforts proved to be futile in the end. Really, the truth has been clear to me for a very long time. We cannot make an enemy of the divine. No matter what we do, the will of the heavenly principles will have its way, and the prophecy shall be fulfilled.
But even then, you still haven't given up, right?
Give up. I do love the sound of that phrase. It would mean finally coming to terms with fate, but also for me to finally be free.
But that would also mean that all hope would disappear.
Indeed. I've thought about giving up so many times, especially after we almost lost Poisson. Fate is really unreasonable, isn't it? It has no heart and obeys no rules. The prophecy has only just started to come true, and so many people have already lost their lives. But just now, it all became clear to me. I still don't have the right to come to terms with fate on behalf of everyone else. As long as the final moment hasn't come, it's still not too late. Don't worry. I will keep hope alive for everyone until the very end. Well, that's enough for now. I got the impulse to play the stricken maiden, but honestly, considering my rank and station, that wasn't a good fit at all. Don't take any of what I just said seriously. How could I possibly let Fontaine fall to the whims of trivial prophecy?
Come on! Paimon could have sworn you were actually being honest just now.
Yeah, stop being so fake. We're running out of time. We can't just go back to square one like this. I have to get more information out of her. Furina, you might not have to shoulder this burden alone. Although I don't know what you might be keeping from everyone, your people are more than willing to share your burden with you.
Share my burden. That's impossible. It was fated right from the start that this would be my duty alone.
But even if your burden doesn't need to be shared, you can still choose to confide in someone. Just share with me. I'm what you'd call a witness.
A witness? Yes. I've heard that you came to Tevat from beyond the stars, yes. In other words, you never belonged here.
Whoa, I wouldn't go that far.
And if Tevat is, in its entirety, a show on a stage, then you're just a spectator, aren't you?
I guess.
If that's the case...
Yes, tell me everything. There's no time left. Please, Furina, just spit it out. Oh, we get a little cutscene. Nice. Something gonna happen to her? Come on. Oh no, we almost had it. We almost got her to talk, and you guys ruined everything, Linny.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes my opening performance.
I guess they were already listening to what we were saying in the first place, right?
Now, without further ado, we may proceed to the trial of our god.
So, this is what it is. Yes, you deserve praise for the effort you took to raise the dramatic stakes. Do not forget, however, that I am Focalor, the god of justice, the embodiment of justice itself. Does it not strike you as even the least bit absurd to bring the very concept of justice to trial?
Okay, this is getting interesting now. This is what we want. None of all that weird fluff and fat of all this setup. This is what we all came here for.
May I interpret these words as your refusal to stand trial?
Ooh, Neuvillette.
In that case, you will have the opportunity to defend your honor through a duel.
With Chlorinde.
You would draw your blade against a god?
Yeah, the Traveler did.
I see. It seems like you have made up your mind.
Paimon can't believe it. She just surrendered.
What the heck is going on? Did I just see an Archon surrender to a human?
Surprised audience member.
Wow, how utterly humiliating.
Lady Furina, what is the meaning of this?
Just shut up, crowd. We gotta get into the good stuff. Yeah, that's what I said, Furina.
It would seem that there has been a misunderstanding. To be clear, the raising of both hands is not always an indication of surrender.
Yeah, French people know it's the white flag.
Looking for excuses again, huh?
I raised my hands just now to indicate my acceptance of the trial. No duel shall be necessary. I will admit that I've been running away for a long time. I'm sorry, everyone. I was unable to protect the people of Poisson. It is my duty to stand trial for my crimes. You are not the only ones to be disappointed in me. I, too, am exceedingly disappointed in myself. But now, it is time for the Hydro Archon to show you her courage and resolve. I, Furina, will use this trial to show the world the true meaning of justice!
And it rains from above.
This time, I will protect you.
Wait, you? Singular?
Applaud and rejoice. One of the most outrageous and fantastical arcs known to the opera epiclese is now unfolding before your eyes.
Oh my goodness, this is getting good. It only took like, what, 4 hours? 4 hours of gameplay for it in order to set up this, where everyone was looking forward to this. No one really cares about, like, how Navia feels about the people around her. Nobody really cares about everyone dissolving and everything, the disaster. All that stuff is just like fluff. All they needed to tell us that there was a disaster, the Furina, the Hydro Archon feels bad, she's running away, and we just needed to find her and get her into trial. And that's really all there is, but it took like, what, 4 hours to get to this point? Okay.
Mark my words. This shall be one of the most exhilarating and brilliant shows ever to grace the stage of Fontaine! The trial of the Hydro Archon, Focalor, will now begin!
Woohoo! Oh, sit down.
Oh, now we're making history!
Overexcited audience member.
Why does it feel like Furina just took over the whole thing? Like, come on! Didn't she just get forced to stand trial for her crimes? Also, even though she's still acting super dramatic, she is taking this seriously this time, right?
Right.
All right, then. Who will be my opponent in this trial?
It will be Navia.
The court asks the prosecutor to please take the stand.
It is I, the Traveler. Thank you, Your Honor.
Is that so? Very well. Then please speak, witness of Tivat, my accuser and fated opponent.
We were so close to getting to her to tell us the truth. And it still turned out like this in the end. It's okay though. As long as we can defeat Furina in court, we'll have a chance to figure everything out. I'm Paimon. I'm just here.
Also, please allow me to ask, as a final question before the trial begins, just how much work did you do to force me onto this stage?
We actually don't know anything. We just decided to come find you. We instinctually thought you'd be where Plaisant was, since that's the most recent disaster. And we kind of knew that you were really guilty. You feel really guilty about that place. So we came to look for you. Everything else was set up by everyone else.
Well, we did do a lot of prep after the meeting that day.
No, we didn't. We just went to talk to some random people and have cake, and then talk to Charlotte.
I can go over the tasks assigned to the Spina di Rosula, since they were rather straightforward and easy.
Navia, the president of the Spina di Rosula.
Most of the people who participated in the disturbance this morning were my subordinates. They changed into plain clothes and came to the Opera House as regular audience members, waiting for the perfect opportunity to incite insurrection against you. The people's resentment against their Archon has been building as more and more of the prophecy is fulfilled. A spark was all we needed to turn smoldering anger into a flame. Moreover, according to our understanding and analysis of you, when something like that occurred, you would likely flee the scene and head to Poisson by yourself. So, we arranged for a second group to lie in wait there.
So, you mean, the ones who scoured the settlement for me were also from the Spina?
And their goal was to force you to step into the giant magic box so you may personally participate in the greatest magic performance in all of Fontainian history.
That's right. That house was a magic box, rather than someone's residence.
As the super ultimate version of the setup that I used when I first performed at the Opera Epiclese, the volume of the box was increased by a whole order of magnitude, and the distance it traversed was the entire gap between Poisson and Aranias. Its cargo, of course, was an Archon instead of a human.
What? An Archon and Lumina and Paimon.
My thanks, Furina. Without your help, we could never have pulled off such an extraordinary performance.
You're welcome?
Of course, this performance was only made possible with Father's support. The House of the Hearth spent a massive amount of labor in Mora to pull this off. We had to select a location, construct the giant magic box, dig a tunnel, and open up a path through the water. It was a lot of work for all of us.
So, in other words, the earthquake that we felt within the giant magic box was just a normal tremor from the transportation of the whole house?
You got it.
That's right. It wasn't a sign of another disaster to come.
Sorry about that. We deceived you back there.
Then, I can guess Neuvillette and Cloran's parts.
And Charlotte, apparently.
You gathered a crowd, prepared a stage, and made sure that the champion duelist would be immediately ready for a fight. Also that as soon as I appeared on the stage, the trial may commence without a hitch. Am I right?
Yes, that is correct.
Well, Clorand, I must commend you for your courage. Only the most outstanding champion duelist in all of Fontaine would accept a duel with an Archon without flinching.
We needed the power of friendship in order to fight a Archon before.
Thank you.
Otherwise, we were getting wrecked.
As for you, Traveler, I suppose your role was to keep me distracted with conversation once you found me in Poisson.
Mm-hmm.
You'd make sure that I didn't notice anything amiss before revealing yourself as my prosecutor once we'd arrived onto the stage.
No, you guessed wrong.
Oh?
My mission was to give you one last chance. We hoped that you'd share your secrets with us before the magic box arrived onto the stage.
Is that so? Then I suppose I must have missed my final chance. It's fine. It matters not. What's done is done. The stage is already set, so there's no reason to disappoint the audience. Let's see this trial through to the very end.
Don't take that, me. Yeah, the only thing we can do now is to judge the Hydro Archon. Still, I can't help but be a little bothered by that conversation earlier. What did Furina want to say to me right before we arrived on the stage?
Madam Prosecutor, please allow me to pass this along.
Okay.
This is a document that Miss Charlotte applied for and received permission to share with you during the trial. According to her, it should speed up the proceedings.
Okay, thanks, Esmond.
Charlotte wanted to give us something? Oh, so she's here too! Hey, Charlotte!
Does she wave back at us? She does. Hello.
Oh, let Paimon see. Isn't this the exclusive interview that she did with us before? So she's already finished it, huh? Wait, then that means this document is a perfect timeline of everything that's happened ever since we stepped foot in Fontaine!
Okay.
So in other words, we can refer to this anthology of evidence every time we want to use something from our journey as evidence for an argument!
Okay, I assume the only thing that we can talk about are things that are in the Archon Quest, and not anything else. Not any other character quests or hangout events. Is there hangout events yet? I don't know actually. But yeah. Or any of the, I guess, world quests or any other quest chains. It's a super practical gift. I never would have thought of using it this way.
Let's quickly confirm the information in it. Just think of it as a refresher, alright?
Okay, Paimon.
You defeated the Hydro Archon in the very first duels you took part in at the Opera House. That's one for the history books, all right.
Okay.
I didn't think that you'd wind up getting to the bottom of the case I'd been following all this time. I guess you could also see this as a happy coincidence. This is the first time Monsieur Neuvillette had a difference of opinion with the Oratrice. Even the Hydro Archon can't figure it out. A Fatui Harbinger. She's an extraordinary person. Her instinct must mean something.
Wait, how do I scroll? Oh, okay. So if she's talking, I can scroll that text box. Otherwise, control becomes here.
The fortress of Meripede was almost destroyed in a single day. That I didn't witness that scene personally will always be a source of professional regret, I think. According to Monsieur Neuvillette, both Child and that whale should have been in the primordial sea at that time.
I don't remember what the whale was about. We had a dream about a whale. Oh yeah, okay, no, we were having like weird dreams when we were in the forces of Meripede. That didn't really connect too much.
I nearly lost my awesome friend Navia. To be honest, that still gives me shivers. The words of someone as extraordinary as a witch can probably only be truly understood when something surreal happens to you.
Okay, well that's all our stuff so far. Cool, we got this.
The prosecution and the defense are both in position. The trial shall now begin.
Oh, come on, Neuvillette. There's no need to repeat all the unimportant legalese.
In the matter of fact, there is.
Just fast forward to the part where the prosecution lays out my offenses. As the defendant and the lead actress of this performance, I still haven't even been informed of my supposed guilt in all of this. Of course, it is only natural for humans to struggle to understand the actions of a god. However, you will need more than that to convict me of a crime.
That's true, but my charge here is unrelated to your conduct as an Archon.
Nice, nice. I don't have to do the reading. They have Lumine voice acted here.
Instead, I would like to charge you as a fraud who's never been the Archon in the first place.
Got her.
Wait, what was that? Lady Furina's a fraud?
Hey, I came here thinking that we were going to try the Hydro Archon for forsaking her duty, but did I hear that right? She's not our Archon at all?
I wonder why we're doing that.
Charge accepted.
We gave her like a really easy win. See, of course on the Archon. See, here's the Gnosis.
Lady Furina, do you plead guilty to the charge?
I guess the Gnosis can be held by other people. Actually, we haven't even seen the Hydro Gnosis has not even been introduced, has been presented, has been revealed in the story yet.
Lady Furina.
I plead not guilty. How can I be guilty? There is no way that I, Focalor, otherwise known as Furina de Fontaine, a member of the Seven and the Regina of all waters, kindreds, peoples, and laws of Fontaine, could be anything other than your true Archon.
Oh, you've sealed your fate, Furina.
Yeah, even though Lady Furina can be rather eccentric, isn't it going too far to doubt her very identity?
Yeah, I've never questioned her identity either. Sure, Lady Furina can be super irresponsible, but what grounds does that prosecutor have to make such a huge claim?
We can do whatever we want, okay?
I have cause to believe that common sense will prevail in this case. Many of the members of the audience have known me as the Hydro Archon ever since they were born. There would be no fooling their memory. See? Even the Oratrice has decided to show me its favor. Are you sure you want to commit to a charge that will never be upheld? If you wish to drop the case, I can promise you as the God of Justice that you will not have to face trial for making a false accusation. We will treat everything that's happened as a dramatic spectacle and move on with our lives. What do you say to that?
We say no.
An argument with near impossible odds, huh? You have to not only refute Furina's claims, but also overturn the long-held beliefs of the people.
The people only see you as their Archon because that's their long-held belief.
Well, I tried to give you the chance to surrender. If you must persist, then let me ask. If you believe I'm not the Archon, then what manner of being do you think I am?
You are but an Oceanid.
And if I was not the Archon, then how did I manage to live for over 500 years?
It's like in Inazuma, Raiden Shogun is just a puppet created by the Electro Archon A. And in some sense, Raiden Shogun isn't the Archon because A is actually the Archon, but she sealed herself away in her, what was that place called? Her mind palace or her reality marble? I don't remember what it was called. But technically, the Raiden Shogun, that was actually what people thought was the Archon, was not the Archon. But yeah, maybe the same thing's happening here. I kind of doubt that. If I were to guess, maybe it has something to do with the whole, like her eyes kind of like symbolizes this whole thing where there's like kind of maybe two versions of her. There's like a dark version and a light version, which is the whole theme with the Numa and Oisa arcs, I think they're called. Maybe like she's not an Archon. She's not fully an Archon. She's just like half an Archon, and the other half is like, I don't know, doing something. Oh, but that's kind of like Sumeru, where Nahida was a branch that fell from the tree. This is all in air quotes here, the tree of Rukkhadevata, right? So, well, maybe that's not the case. That's a little different. If literally she's just like half of Archon and the other half is like doing something somewhere else. Or maybe she is the half that doesn't have the Gnosis, and that's why she can't really say she is the Archon as much. But at the same time, A didn't really have a Gnosis for a very long time. Essentially, when she sealed herself away, she gave her Gnosis in the care of Yai Miko, right? So, maybe having a Gnosis or not doesn't really dictate whether you're an Archon or not. I'm like thinking of all the other Archons. Venti had his Gnosis taken away, and he kind of sort of is still an Archon. Zhang Li faked his own death and created the contract that ends all contracts, that gave away his Gnosis to the Harbingers and to Snezhnaya and the Fatui. But he's still technically an Archon, even though he's given up that title, kind of, sort of. At least in the eyes of the citizens of Li Yue. I guess at the moment, A is once again the Archon of Inazuma, since we kind of like used the power of friendship, and it convinced her that her definition of eternity needs to be altered, and she needs to be there for her people or something like that. And then yeah, Sumeru with Nahida and Rukkhadevata, the whole thing. So Furina is like the opposite of an Archon or something. I don't know, like it's like a mirror image. That, like, how, you know how there was that animation back there, that scene where we saw one half of her face and then there was a block in the middle, and on the other side, like it was like cut in the middle, and it was like the angle of the other side of her face, and then they kind of flipped together to create her full face. Are they saying like there's like mirror images and mirror dimensions and or something involved? Which is I don't know, maybe she's like the shadow of the Archon or something, or the reflection of the Archon. So she's not as powerful, but she still exists or something. I don't know. She is not the actual Archon. She's just a piece of the Archon, and that's why she can't. We're gonna prove that she is not the Archon that way. She's like just the reflection or the shadow of an Archon or something like that herself. So she doesn't really have the power over her citizens as like the god of justice or whatever. I've got to think carefully. What do we know to be special about Furina exactly? That's what I was just like brainstorming with myself out loud. So these are grayed out for some reason. There is Child's Conviction and wait, yeah, these ones are irrelevant. It's already, they make it easy for you, I guess. Tea Time with N, the meeting with the knave, and Child's Conviction. Though Neuvillette believed Child to be innocent, the oratress judged him as guilty in the end, and even Furina didn't know why. That sounds exactly like it. Well, how could she be, being the Fossilor, being the Archon of Justice, not know why, right? When it's her power, essentially, that has judged Child guilty, even though Neuvillette said he was innocent. During the diplomatic meeting with the knave, she revealed that she had already probed Furina of her own. and believe it is possible that not only is Furina not really the Archon, but that she is actually afflicted with some sort of curse. Interesting, this also sounds good too. Tea time with N. N communicated with you by connecting your consciousnesses. She believed that prophecy will certainly happen, but that you didn't, or you needn't give up all hope. So I don't think this is relevant as much. I'm kind of tied between these two, but Furina not knowing why Child was deemed guilty by the Oratress, I don't think that is as strong as Knave, like saying she like tried to assassinate her, and she found it weird that she was like this weak thing that couldn't even like defend herself when the Knave was expecting like an epic battle out of it because she's going up against an Archon. But then what happened was when she pushed it over, she just like started crying. She as in Furina just fell over and started crying. So I'm gonna choose this one.
First of all, you may be a member of another long-lived race, which would allow you to naturally possess an extended lifespan. And second of all, even if that wasn't the case, there could be other ways to extend your life.
Such as a curse.
Who gave you that idea? Was it the Knave? You'd sink so low as to use a harbinger's words against me.
It doesn't matter who gave us the information. What matters is the veracity of the claim.
A curse? I once thought it possible that the aura of an Archon might naturally resemble a type of curse. But in light of this claim, perhaps what I sensed was not your divinity, but a curse after all.
You sensed it too, huh, Neuvillette?
So, Furina, instead of an Archon, could you just be a cursed human?
Lady Furina is actually a human?
Well, it is true that it's extremely difficult to tell humans and gods apart just by looking at them. It's not impossible.
Ooh.
Well, don't start celebrating too early now. Even if I have been carrying a curse like you said, how does that prove that I am merely a human being? Besides, everyone knows that the main difference between a human and a god is the possession of authority. Gods can do what humans cannot. That's why they're worshipped as gods.
I guess the Adeptus is not technically gods, but they're also worshipped and prayed to, right?
For centuries, manifestations of my authority have served the nation of Fontaine. One need only to turn their eyes towards the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal in this very opera house, or consider the endemnitium that is used in every aspect of life.
Wait, that one trial proved the opposite. Furina actually has no control over the Oratrice at all. The truth behind the serial disappearance of young women case. It turns out that Fontainians can be dissolved by water from the primordial sea. Over the years, Vache kidnapped and dissolved many young girls for his experiments to try and find a way to bring back his wife, who had been dissolved. Oh, that quest already kind of implied that people who have been dissolved become like one consciousness. And when he was in contact with that one consciousness, it turned out it was all the people that he experimented on, and they all took revenge on him, right? Okay, I guess I should have saw that coming earlier. That Navia, if she was being dissolved, that she would be melded into the consciousness of the primordial waters, but then somehow she survived. Child's conviction. Though Neuvillette believed Child to be innocent, the Oratrice judged him as guilty in the end, and even Furina didn't know why. What evidence proves that Furina is not the master of the Oratrice? It's probably this one, right? Yeah, I'll just do this one.
You tried to reference the Oratrice, but weren't you as confused as all the rest of us when the Oratrice declared Child to be guilty without any proof? Otherwise, you should have come up with a good explanation for that by now.
Didn't I make myself clear at the time? The decisions of the gods are naturally difficult for humans to comprehend. There is no need to provide an explanation.
Lady Furina, I believe a reminder of your current circumstances is in order. While the court is in session, the principles of justice and the law must come before all else. While you are an Archon,
Oh no,
you're
you're not allowed
also
to say
first
that.
and foremost the defendant in this trial.
We're trying to prove that she's not the Archon, so Neuvillette saying that kind of confirms that we all still see her as an Archon. I guess we did already say, like, everyone here does think you're an Archon and will worship you as such, but calling her an Archon is just formality at this point and not actually proof that she's an Archon.
You will prove yourself unable to defend against the prosecution's charges if you continue to withhold vital information against the rules of the court.
I never thought you'd use that kind of rhetoric against me.
That was no trick of rhetoric, Lady Furina. I've merely reiterated the rules of the court. Rules that all should respect and follow.
Got him. Take that.
So, you neither knew why Child was declared guilty, nor did you understand the structure and operations of the Oratrice. Instead of having been created by you, the manifestations of authority you mentioned have been made by the real Hydro Archon, haven't they?
Whoa, Paimon. Paimon's got some bite.
The real Hydro Archon. Well, now you're really losing me. It is true that I did not know why the Oratrice gave out a guilty verdict that day. But the Oratrice handed out that verdict unilaterally, and it has been operating independently ever since it was first created. You can't argue that just because a divine creation is flawed, that the god behind it must also be no god at all.
She's still throwing out all kinds of excuses. Seems like she's confident that we won't be able to produce proof that she has no power over the Oratrice.
Sure, we can put the Oratrice aside for now. But then, Miss Furina, could you give us a brief demonstration of your power as Archon? As an Archon?
My power as an Archon. There are many ordinary citizens in the audience. How can I just carelessly demonstrate the formidable power of an Archon?
If that poses a concern, I'm prepared to extend my protection to the audience.
You don't need to go that far.
A brief demonstration of your power over Hydro should be quite harmless. Surely an Archon can at least match the capacities of a human with a vision.
Aren't you the Hydro Archon? Or is it that you can't even wield the power of Hydro, much less the authority of a god?
Indemnitium! Yes! It's all because of Indemnitium! All Archons derive their power from the faith of the people, and I've converted the people's faith in justice into Indemnitium. Thus did I give up all of my divine power to provide everyone with energy for their daily lives. Have you ever seen a more magnanimous god?
Isn't that a huge stretch?
Yeah, no matter how generous an Archon can be, how could they give up all their power? Can a god with no power even still be called a god?
Wait, is that our side
Seems
or
like
their side?
nobody's buying Furina's excuse.
Hey, come now, everyone. Please don't stare at me as if I was a liar. I'm still the same Furina you knew, right? The one that you loved. Shouldn't you want to believe in me?
Even though I kind of hate her current situation, I'm starting to really like her character. I think it's like pretty well put together.
Please, you've got to believe me.
If what the prosecutor said is true, she really has committed a grave offense.
Did she deceive all of us? And all of our parents and grandparents too? And then all of our ancestors? Ever since they were born?
Enough. That's enough. Tell me then, if I'm not the real Hydro Archon, then who is? If you have no evidence of another Hydro Archon's existence, nor can you find anyone who can back up their claim to be such, then what grounds have you to say that I'm not actually the real deal?
We call it Xingqiu or Yelan. Now, here's the new real Hydro Archon here. Look how powerful they are.
Wow, she came up with yet another argument. How can we refute her now? Seems like she really doesn't want to give up.
Come to think of it, a lot of Hydro characters are pretty strong. Yelan's pretty strong. She's 5-star though. Xingqiu is pretty strong. At least his ult is pretty strong. And he has like pretty good defensive capabilities too. Ayato is very strong as well, DPS wise. Child is actually pretty strong too. A lot of Hydro characters are like pretty top tier like DPS people. Yeah, we can't prove that she isn't the Archon. Mona is actually pretty strong too, and she's one of the original characters of this game ever since the release of the game too. If we can't prove that she isn't the Archon, we can try to prove that she is just a human. And if she's only human, then she bleeds. Became Linny's attorney. A murder case unfolded in the midst of Linny and Lynette's first performance at the Grand Opera House. Though they were cleared of the accusations leveled against them, their identities as agents of the House of the Hearth were revealed. This is the Dissolve one. The mission. The intrusion of the Primordial Sea into the Fortress of Meropide. The entrance to the Primordial Sea is sealed beneath the Forbidden Zone in the Fortress of Meropide. And recently, the Primordial Sea has nearly broken out. It was only temporarily pushed back by Neuvillette's power, not Furina's power. Navia falling into seawater. While exploring the ruins near Poisson, it began to collapse and Navia fell into water containing primordial seawater. Only the protection of the dead members of the Spina di Rosula prevented her from dissolving. And yeah, I have what evidence can prove that Furina is human? This doesn't really have anything to do with Furina, but I feel like this one is the strongest so far, since if she was the Archon, she'd be able to do this, and Neuvillette can go about his business, right? It turns out that the Fontainians can be dissolved by water from Prana. Over the years, Vache kidnapped and dissolved many young girls for his experiments, and try to find a way to bring back his wife, who has been dissolved. I don't think, like, these two, I don't know how it relates at all, even though it is, like, tagged as related, because these ones are irrelevant, right? This one, I think, is probably the best one, since, for whatever reason, Neuvillette is the one who has to go save everyone, when you'd think that is, like, the job of the Archon, but that doesn't really support any evidence as for her to be human. It only supports evidence that she might not be the Archon, so that's a little bit weird. Maybe there's some like localization translation issues right now, and I don't know why Navia falling into seawater has anything to do with Neuvillette being Furina being a human, so I don't even know why this is like related at all. I'm just gonna do this one and see what happens.
That doesn't sound right. Paimon doesn't think this clue can be used as compelling evidence to build our case.
Okay, so it's not this one. The truth behind the serial disappearance of young women's case. Oh, maybe if she was really like 1 billion years old, she would have figured this case out a long time ago. If she was like, she heard about all these people, right? And she knows about the primordial sea and stuff. I don't know. This one seems pretty strong now. Maybe. Let's try that one. Just pick and choose, I guess. No?
It has been established that all Fontainians can dissolve in water from the primordial sea. And that means...
Since you insist on claiming to be a god and not a human, then there's a method that you can use right here and now to eliminate all suspicions of you being the latter.
Okay, so we splash her with primordial water and she dissolves, and she's only a human, but as the prophecy goes, everyone will be dissolved and only the Archon is left or something.
Miss Navia, please apply to serve as a temporary attorney for the prosecution before addressing the court. Though you act in partnership with the prosecutor, you must still adhere to proper procedure.
Super sorry, Monsieur Chief Justice. I swear this really will be the last time that I'll speak out of turn. Now, I've brought some seawater from Poisson. As everyone knows, a massive flood struck the area not long ago, taking many lives, including those of some of my closest friends. So, Miss Furina, would you dare to touch some of this seawater?
She's like, well, I'm not from Fontaine, so this is gonna work.
If we are to believe that you are indeed the real Hydro Archon, touching the seawater would have no effect on you. All it should do is strengthen your case. But if you don't dare to touch it, then we would have basically proved the reverse. Oh, and I must remind you that after the disaster at Poisson, nobody wants to see any more people dissolve. I do hope you'll act prudently and choose the simpler path of admitting guilt.
Navia from the Spina di Rasula. The Spina has governed Poisson for many years. I guess her suggestion is valid.
If Lady Furina is indeed just a human, she's probably Fontainian like all the rest of us. Would she really dare to try?
No, be quiet, audience members. We don't care about what you guys think. Oh, there she goes. She drinks it. Furina?
Lady Furina, this test has been unilaterally proposed by the prosecution. As it falls outside the realm of standard court proceedings, you possess the right to decline participation.
Well, of course he had to tell her that. But refusing to participate is basically the same as a confession of guilt.
She's just staring at the water without saying a single word. It really does seem like she's quite terrified of it. That could only mean...
But we also know that you can survive being dissolved, because we know Navia. So, I don't know, I think she's gonna touch it, and she somehow saves herself from the Oceanid that tries to blend her into the rest of them.
What's going on? Is she really planning to... that's not what we thought she would...
Put your face into it.
Due to the inherent risk of the test, Lady Furina, you may...
Hey!
She actually...
I'm fine! Look at me, everyone! My hand is still here! I haven't been dissolved! Will you believe me now? I really am your Archon! I'm nothing like a normal human who would fall apart as soon as they touch this water! Really? Was this not the most obvious thing in the world?
Miss Siegewien? If you're present, Miss Siegewien, please come forward and attend to the defendant.
Siegewien?
Don't be nervous. It'll just take a few seconds. Let me see.
As we know, Melusines are like offsprings of the Hydro Dragon, who now we know is Neuvillette. So all the Melusines are technically like Neuvillette's kids, and Siegewien is one of them too.
That should be enough.
Please announce the results of your evaluation to the court, Miss Siegewien.
As everyone doubtlessly saw, Miss Furina was displaying symptoms of hyperventilation and flushed skin. These indicate that she was experiencing the adverse effects of exposure to primordial seawater. The extent to which she was affected is the same as other humans when exposed to primordial seawater of a similar concentration.
Thank you, Miss Siegewien. Lady Furina, you may return to the defendant's stand.
Oh wait, what did she just say? I didn't get dissolved! Shouldn't that be enough to prove my innocence?
Well, considering your tendency to run from your problems, we did originally prepare a direct sample of the seawater around Poisson. However, after extensive discussion, we exchanged it for a sample that is not concentrated enough to dissolve an actual human. After all, on the off chance that something entirely unexpected might occur, we don't want anyone else to lose their life to the sea.
Yeah, so out of regard for Furina's life, you secured a low-concentration sample and asked the head nurse to serve as an expert witness. It's a great thing that the direct sample wasn't actually used. Furina could have...
Ooh, and they kind of went in a direction I didn't expect.
I can't believe... you...
So we pretty much proved that she's human then. But what's really going on here? Furina can't have not known the consequences of touching the water as a human. This is too unlike how she usually acts. Unless it's actually more important for her to keep up her facade than to save her own life? But Hadn't she given up on everything a long time ago?
Listen to me! Listen to me, everyone! Please don't give me such cold and disdainful looks! What happened just now didn't prove a single thing! Think about it! How can you conclusively prove that an Archon can't also be affected by the primordial seawater?
Because of prophecy, at least. I guess when nobody believes in the prophecies or even set in stone. Well, I guess it is kind of, I don't know. The Hydro Archon is supposed to be left alone, right, when the primordial seawater takes over.
Also, if I was really just a human, why would I dare to just put my hand in that kind of water? Please, everyone, anyone, just listen to me. I swear, I really am your Archon.
Oh no, Justice is blind. No one's looking at her.
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone. The odds are just too stacked against her now.
With all the things that have been said, Paimon doesn't think there's any way left for Furina to win.
I believe the time for arguments and presentation of evidence has come to an end. If there are no objections, we will move on to the final judgment.
Oh, this is going to be interesting. I think Neuvillette again is going to say she's guilty of not being, the Archon? Innocent? Or, I'm a little confused with the wording. He's going to say that she's not an Archon, and then the Orifice will say that she is, and then it's going to be another one of those. That'd be cool, right? Uh-oh, is she activating her superpowers? Is she activating her Archon powers?
In my capacity as Chief Justice, I shall now render judgment on Furina's misrepresentation of herself as the Archon of Fontaine. As a human who knowingly deceived her fellow citizens, Furina is guilty.
Oh no! Wait, where is she now? Was there always a chair behind her? No, Furina.
We shall now turn to the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale to render the final verdict on the charges.
I forgot about the little nod at Honkai Star Rail.
According to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale, Furina is
not guilty.
Well, what's wrong? What's the Oratrice's verdict?
It can't be. Did the Oratrice declare Furina to be innocent?
No. The Oratrice also displays a guilty verdict.
What? Oh my god! That's completely different than what I thought. Oh, so Neuvillette thought that the Oratrice will disagree with him this time? Because he deep down thinks that even though she kind of like is a little bit incompetent, she is still the Hydro Archon. Like he believes that deep down. But no, the Oratrice itself says she's guilty. So is the Oratrice broken?
Isn't that correct then?
However, the exact wording of the verdict is thus: the Hydro Archon, guilty.
What? So the Oratrice just contradicted itself. Even though they're saying that she's not the Hydro Archon, the Oratrice is saying the Hydro Archon is guilty. But I don't know, maybe it's one of those things where, you know, in the previous one where Child was deemed guilty, but from what we've seen and all the evidence presented, we can see that he was innocent of killing all the ladies, right? It was that Vache person that was doing it, and Vache was the actual guilty party. But the Orifice still said he was guilty, so there's like a couple things that we can see here. Is the Orifice or Oratrice just starting to like go wonky and is starting to go senile in his old age and is coming out with really weird sentencing? is the oratress correct, but there's like some semantic or metaphysical or I don't know, just wording errors that like, oh, humans can't understand. Human language cannot describe this godly, otherworldly, higher power, the actions of a god or whatever. Is that what's going on?
To be punished via the death sentence.
No, no, Furina.
The death sentence?
But then she's supposed to be alone or something.
That's actually one of the available sentences? I've always thought that it was just a myth.
The one and only time the death sentence has been handed out at the court, and it's been given to the very person we've worshipped as the god of justice? What an unexpected twist.
Yeah, you can say that again.
Furina's been sentenced to death by the Oratrice? We just wanted to use the trial to show her the seriousness of things so she'd tell us the truth. How did things escalate this quickly?
What do we do? What should we do, Paimon?
This outcome is indeed quite strange. According to Fontaine's current definitions of justice, as well as its recommendations for criminal sentences, is this sentence really appropriate for the crimes that have been committed?
Yeah! Even Fache wasn't sentenced to death by the Oratrice. You know, the real evil mastermind behind the serial disappearances case.
What's more strange is, instead of Furina, the Oratrice rendered judgment on the Hydro Archon.
Indeed. Not only is Furina's sentence overly excessive, the very point of our trial today was also to prove that Furina has never been the Hydro Archon in the first place. But now, the Oratrice seems to have deliberately invoked the title of the Hydro Archon. What does this mean?
So many contradictions, so many oxymorons.
Excuse me, if I may interrupt. Is the trial still going?
Fremine! Oh, you finally made it. I assume this means you've completed your mission?
Mm-hmm. Any mission Father assigns to me will always be top priority.
With some help with the other Fatui, Fremine begins to state...
That the first prophecy slate? Huh. So the knave privately arranged for Fremine to try and find the missing slate.
I looked everywhere and finally found it at the bottom of the sea. It took me a long time to get around some dangerous stretches of water. But has the trial already concluded? Then doesn't that mean I've come too late? Oh no. Father will be disappointed in me.
Don't worry, Fremine. The mystery hasn't been resolved yet. It's still not too late for you to shine.
Thank you for your hard work, Mr. Fremine. Please allow me to review the record left on the slate.
That's a picture, all right.
Traveler, I believe that you have already seen the other existing slates. I would like you to come here and confirm their contents.
Okay.
Huh? So what do you see? What is it?
This looks like the previous Hydro Archon releasing her divine power, turning the Oceanids into human beings.
I believe I've now made sense of the Hydro Archon's crime. It has to do with Fontaine's lost history.
What? No way. So the Hydro Archon was transforming Oceanids into like the man that you see in the orb in the middle there.
Huh? Isn't the Hydro Archon just guilty of deceiving her people? Oh, wait, no, that's Furina, and we've already proven that she's not the Hydro Archon.
So we have to find the Hydro Archon in order to execute her?
So when you say Hydro Archon, do you mean the real Hydro Archon we've been kinda talking about?
In truth, everything that you've encountered in Fontaine up until this point can be traced back to the contents of these stone slates. However, I'm uncertain as to how much sense they currently make to you.
An association between the contents of the slates and the events in real life.
Okay, let's try to recall the contents of the other 3 stone slates. Paimon will do her best to help you remember.
Okay. Select to check the descriptions of the stone slates to extract key information from them. You can find scenarios related to the stone slates contents in the incidents recorded in the interview notebook. There you can verify said content. As the verification process continues, the fountain water levels in the menu interface will rise. When you have finished verifying all the stone slates, the truth behind the prophecy shall be revealed. Okay, that sounds good.
The first stone slate describes what you just said. It seems to show the previous Hydro Archon using her divine power, and then the Oceanids turn into humans. Does that mean that Fontainians are transformed Oceanids? Oh, Paimon wasn't expecting that. But if Oceanids can turn into humans, then perhaps this process can be reversed as well. The second stone slate shows Celestia floating in the sky, and the Hydro Archon and her people worshipping it together. But the heavens still brought judgment down upon them.
I guess that's why Neuvillette said he believed it was like confessing to a sin. So I guess the sin was turning Oceanids into people.
This must be the point when the Hydro Archon and the Fontainians were branded with their original sin. Does this mean that the original sin and the Hydro Archon sin are the same thing? The third slate shows the Hydro Archon sinking into the sea surrounded by many people. That reminds Paimon, didn't we also watch that happen to someone else?
Yeah, that's what happened to Navia, right?
Well, the fourth slate is the prophecy the Fontainians have been talking about. People dissolving into the sea, the Hydro Archon crying on her throne, and so on. We didn't believe that such a crazy disaster could happen at first, did we? But after that incident, it was just a question of when and not if.
Wait. The real events related to the prophecies on the prophecy slates. Verify truth. The stone slates in the ruin showing the prophecy described a history of the future. The first piece that was originally missing has been found by Furina. It seems to show the former Hydro Archon using divine power to turn Oceanids into people. So if I hit A, it'll give me a list of things I can verify this truth with. It's this one, right? Since we know that the people who get dissolved are actually being turned into Oceanids.
We know from the case of the serial disappearances of young women that Fontainians can be dissolved in primordial seawater. And the first stone slate tells us that long ago, the Hydro Archon used her power to turn Oceanids into humans. This might be the reason that Fontainians can dissolve.
Yay, went up a little bit. So for this one, the stone slate in the ruins showing the prophecy described a history of the future. This is the second slate. It shows Celestia floating in the sky, and the Hydro Archon or people worship it together, but the heavens still brought judgment upon them. So this one is, I don't think it would be this. Maybe it is this, but I don't think so. The entrance to the Primordial Sea is sealed. I don't think it was this one. While exploring the ruins near Poisson, it began to collapse, and now they found the water containing Primordial Sea. Nope. And communicated that it's probably this one, right? The Hydro Archon is being said is guilty. There we go.
Perhaps what is about to take place has all happened before. The true sin of the Hydro Archon that Neuvillette mentioned, and the original sin cast down on the people of Fontaine by Celestia, as recorded on the stone slates.
Interesting. I wonder if this has any relation to the punishment cast down to Conrea. Well, the top one says, human who turn into Oceanids. The fact that Fontainians can dissolve in primordial seawater, becoming Oceanids, is proof of their origin. The Hydro Archon who was sentenced to death. A sentence never before passed in a court of judgment has been handed down to the Hydro Archon. Just what kind of sin merits such a verdict? Prophecy slate. The stone slate in the ruin showing the prophecy described a history of the... Okay, that's no what is said in the other one. This is the third slate. It shows the Hydro Archon sinking into the sea, surrounded by many people. So this one is Navia, right? She fell into the water containing primordial water. While exploring the ruins near Poisson, it began to collapse, and Navia fell into the water containing primordial seawater. Only the protection of the dead members of the Spina di Rosula prevented her from dissolving.
It's not as simple as falling into the sea. When Navia fell into the sea, Her consciousness was subjected to judgment. The stone slates show the people gathered around the Hydro Archon in the sea. Could that be alluding to the same thing?
So they were judging the Hydro Archon then, the people surrounding her? And we were judged not guilty during the... Or Navia was judged not guilty of being one with the people of Poisson. And that she is an independent person. They didn't have to meld together. This one is the fourth slate. It shows a scene that is basically identical to that described in the prophecy circulating throughout Fontaine. Fontainians will eventually be dissolved into the sea, and the Hydro Archon will sit alone on her throne and weep. So this is... this one, right? The primordial sea is rising up, back on the streets. And yeah, Neuvillette is using his powers to suppress it.
The prophecy from the stone slates found its way into society, but not many people believed it at first. The fortress of Meropide was nearly flooded with primordial seawater, which we know can cause Fontainians to dissolve. It seems increasingly likely that the prophecy may come true. If we hadn't dealt with it in time, things could have gone very badly.
Interesting.
They'll dissolve into the primordial sea but won't cease to exist. Their essence will flow in the seawater, converge, and take the form of an oceanid. The Hydro Archon was sentenced to death in court, shocking everyone present. Perhaps this means that her sin was actually Fontaine's original sin. Navia fell into the water inside those ruins, and she nearly dissolved. She was surrounded by the people of Poisson in a court within her consciousness, and was forced to take part in a trial meant to make her stay. The eruption of the primordial sea at the fortress of Meropide was the surest sign that the prophecy was about to come to pass no matter what. The prophecy's contents can all be verified by recent events. If we combine what we know together, loads of truths should come to light.
Verification complete.
Huh? Oh, Paimon gets it now. So that's how you can make sense of it. But then it feels like we're going to have to share some truly shocking revelations.
Let's hear them.
The first slate reveals that Fontainians are not real humans.
Incredible. Linny, did you hear that?
We're not humans.
We're not real humans.
All Fontainians were originally created by the late previous Hydro Archon, with Oceanids as their basis. The evidence for that can be found in how only Fontainians could dissolve in primordial seawater, and how all the girls Vacher dissolved were also turned into Oceanids. Oh, and according to Navia, when she was about to get dissolved, she also saw everyone gathered around for a trial, all of them in the shape of Oceanids.
Indeed.
Second slate reveals that the crime of the Hydro Archon was her creation of the Fontainians from Oceanids.
Yeah, and it follows from the content of the first slate that she probably angered Celestia by creating humans without prior permission. That could also explain why the Oratrice judged the Hydro Archon to be guilty. It's to account for that ancient sin.
The Hydro Archon's true sin was creating us?
And yet, after many hundreds of years, the Hydro Archon's creations have turned around to try to judge the Archon within the Opera Epiclese. The twists of history are often the most unexpected of all.
And as for the third slate, I'm still convinced that it should come after the fourth slate.
Yeah, isn't the image here just like when Navia fell into the sea? So wouldn't it be trying to show the image of the Hydro Archon also falling into the sea once the prophecy has been fulfilled in the fourth slate?
Yeah, this one doesn't make sense to me. I thought the Hydro Archon falling into the sea is actually like the seawater coming up and turning everyone into oceanids, but the only one that isn't being transformed is Furina, right? And she's in the middle of it, having to watch everyone dissolve and have no power to do anything against it. Anyway, the fourth slate depicts the fulfillment of a prophecy as it's already widely known.
In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon will remain weeping on her throne. Only then will the sins of the people of Fontaine be washed away.
So it means the original sin of turning Fontainians into humans, when they're all turned back into oceanids, then those sins are washed away.
Did Paimon get all that right?
That sounds about right.
You've made some keen deductions. I must say, given how much you still don't know, it is impressive that you've already managed to connect so many pieces of the truth.
Yes, praise us more, Neuvillette.
However, while you were able to decode all the information on the slates, they've also been etched with an additional layer of hidden information using a different power source.
What were you gonna do?
When we were at the ruins, I tried to decipher the hidden information recorded in the slates. But since we only had 3 slates at the time, I was unable to come to a full conclusion.
Well, what are you gonna do now?
Now that the slate collection is complete, I shall make another attempt to decipher the narrative recorded within. If everything goes well, we should finally be informed of the unadulterated truth.
What? No way. Blah, blah, blah.
Well? Did you get it?
There's just a lot of ads and spam.
I believe I should share this truth not only with you, but with all the people of Fontaine as well. I will try to briefly summarize it for you. Your hypotheses regarding the origin of Fontainians and the sin of the Hydro Archon were both correct.
What? No way.
In the Fontaine of old, the previous Hydro Archon sensed the yearning of her Oceanid familiars for life on land. The Oceanids were enamored with the beauty and romanticism of human beings, and wishing to have those experiences for themselves, expressed to the Hydro Archon their desire to become of a similar kind. However, even though water as an element is intricately linked with the power of life, the Hydro Archon, as one of the 7, did not possess the authority to create a new form of human life. Not one to give in, she eventually found a way to create permanent humanoid bodies for her familiars by appropriating the power of this planet's primordial sea.
What?
She poured primordial seawater into the Oceanid's blood vessels, creating humanoid mimics in the process.
Oh, okay. I guess this whole story has been implied or foreshadowed? No, implied during the event story where the one Oceanid was creating all these mimics of all her friends and stuff in the little like snow globe world that she lives in. It was a Klee event, I believe, where Klee is like kind of like the center of it, and there was like roller coasters and stuff everywhere. So yeah, she creates like human-looking people who are not really humans. They're all hydro eidolons or water eidolons or something, taking form of people. So yeah, that's just what's happening now, essentially. That to a higher degree, I guess.
But if Fontainians were to ever come into direct contact with water from the primordial sea, the power within their bodies would escape these artificial restraints and return to the sea. As a result, their forms would collapse, and they would be reverted to their original forms as Oceanids. Of course, the Hydro Archon never received permission from the heavenly principles to create a new human race. And thus, the Hydro Archon and all of her creations came to shoulder the original sin of appropriating the power of the primordial sea. That is the true history of how the people of Fontaine first came into being.
So we were all Oceanids before we turned into human beings?
That's way too much information for me. I think I'm just going to pretend that I never heard a single thing.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go home. I'm just gonna go home and give my kids and wife a big hug and hold them forever.
Wait, but if that's the truth, we can't let the Hydro Archon be sentenced to death. After all, her only sin was creating us.
This really might be too much information for your regular Fontainian, but it does answer a lot of our questions.
Alas, your hypothesis regarding the 3rd and 4th stone slates was inaccurate. The slate's respective positions are, in fact, correct.
So, they are in the right order? What is the third slate supposed to represent, then?
A key point of the visual on the third slate is how all the individuals depicted in the water are humans rather than Oceanids. They have not been dissolved, which implies that the water depicted in this slate is not water from the primordial sea. The nation of Fontaine is the nation of Hydro, as well as the nation of trials and justice. Instead of being the literal element, the water in the scene symbolizes judgment and justice. You may also recall Navia's experience. When she fell into the sea, her consciousness was surrounded by that of many others who intended to hold a trial to determine her fate. Therefore, the meaning of the third slate is that the people of Fontaine shall try the Hydro Archon at the court of justice.
Exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. It can't be. That's what we're doing right now.
Yes, it refers to our present situation.
It means everyone's gonna die soon.
I think I'm following now. So, what you're saying is, even though we decided to put on this trial to avoid fulfilling the prophecy,
we actually brought it one step closer to completion.
In truth, everything we've done has happened exactly as the prophecy foretold. So now, it seems, we're the ones making sure it comes true.
What should we do?
I don't know. It feels like there's no way out of this.
Huh. No matter what, the prophecy will be fulfilled. Is this what it feels like to be a prisoner of fate?
Is this an answer from this world?
If that's the case, does that mean the scene in the fourth slate will also be fulfilled soon?
Traveler, I would like to point out another small fallacy in your deductions.
Oh, gosh darn it.
About the fourth slate. You probably thought that the eruption of primordial seawater beneath the fortress of Meripede served as the surest sign that the prophecy was about to come to pass, yes?
Mm-hmm.
However, I believe that rather than being a sure sign, that eruption could in fact only be a small warning of something far worse to come. As for the root cause of the catastrophe, I believe you've already encountered it once before.
I have? Wait, could it be the enforcer of the divine principles or something? The ultimate proof. Just what is the true source of the catastrophe?
This eruption was just a small warning of the things to come. We must find the root cause of the disaster.
Alright. Just what is the true source of the catastrophe? Humans who turn into Oceanids. Wait, what? Do I just choose one of these? Wait, no, these all have check marks on. Only this one requires truth verification. The prophesied disaster will likely spread from here. The evidence that verifies the intrusion of the primordial sea into the fortress of Meripede is... The whale in the dream appears here. I don't think this was here before. I believe this is probably going to be it since it just appeared here. You saw a child floating in the sea in the dream, as well as an indescribably massive whale.
It was both dream and reality.
It was all a dream. Well, that's dumb.
If we're talking about a true culprit, that could only be that thing inside the primordial sea, right?
The truth, the original sin, the trial, and the root cause of the disaster.
Uh-oh. Oh no, the whale is coming. The whales are coming. They're gonna buy all the Genesis crystals. And they're gonna wish for all the constellations. That was easy. Well, this is awesome. Oh no, Neuvillette! No, don't let it eat Furina! Oh no, they're eating Fontainian people. Whoa, it's Child! Oh yeah, Child escaped the Fortress of Meripede and I guess got eaten by him. He's using his delusion. Oh, he fell down. He fell down.
That was way too close! How did that thing just burst into the Opera House? Wait, was that the huge whale you saw in your dream?
That's right. I'd wager that it's also the one that Child saw when he was young. Oh, is that why he has like that one? When you fight the boss fight, the Tartaglia boss fight, one of his attacks is like he takes up most of the battlefield, I guess. Like a big whale comes up and slashes or splashes down and like does a lot of damage.
So we've met it at last. I understand very well why it has chosen to make an appearance here. That whale does not belong to Teyvat. It is a monster that has traversed the stars, weeping all the while.
What? Does this have anything to do with Honkai Star Rail? Because there have been announcement of another new character called Skirk, who is Child's master in when he fell into like that domain that he was talking about where he learned to fight and how he learned to use all the weapons and stuff. It's because this master named Skirk, this lady in this other realm, taught him how to fight. And yeah, her design doesn't really look like designs of characters in Genshin Impact. It actually looks closer to like Honkai Star Rail characters, like the way she's dressed and like the way her hair and accessories and stuff look, which is a little interesting.
It has been greedily consuming the energy from the planet's primordial sea, using it to grow. That is the main cause for the rising sea levels. And once it has finished consuming all of the energy contained within the sea, its next step will be
to eat the planet.
You said that when the Hydro Archon first created Fontainians out of Oceanids, she filled their blood vessels with primordial seawater.
Precisely. That whale finds the blood of Fontainians nigh impossible to resist. Therefore, when it left the primordial sea, it decided to make its next stop a packed opera house full of food. Food in the form of Fontainians.
We just barely managed to push it back, right? In that case, won't it come back to target the people again once it's managed to recover its strength?
Not if we go in and fight it first.
That is correct. Indeed, it is more accurate to say that we should thank that Harbinger for buying us some time. Without him, the whale would have likely come onto land far sooner.
We have to give Child back his Hydro vision so he doesn't have to rely on the delusion anymore. Because that's killing him slowly.
From the way he looked, he must have been fighting the creature for quite a long time.
That battle maniac. We've always known that he had a special connection with that whale, but we definitely didn't expect it to help us out like this. Anyway, now that we know that this whale is the actual cause of the disaster recorded in the prophecy, all we need to do to stop the prophecy would be to find a way to beat it up, right?
Right, how convenient.
It is too late.
How convenient that all our problems can be solved with violence. Well, what do you mean?
It had already absorbed too much of the primordial sea's energy before we could notice it. At this point, it has become practically integrated with the sea itself. Even if the entirety of Teyvat were to be destroyed, it could still survive and swim off towards some other world.
What?
That's not something I will accept. We've already done everything we can, and we even found the true culprit. We've come so far. You can't just tell me that the last hurdle is some impossible foe. That's just not fair.
Indeed, that's not how a grand performance should end.
I'll fight it to the end, no matter what.
So the prophecy will be fulfilled no matter what, huh?
Sounds about right, Paimon. Oh no, what does our Earth eye see? Our traveler eye see? ...
The prophecy. Yes, what has been prophesied will be fulfilled. You may view such things as the history of the future.
After everything, it still turns out like this. We couldn't fight against fate. Wait, what if this is all about fate?
Just as prophecies are usually only the future as seen from the perspectives of the gods, could things be happening in hidden corners where the gods' gaze does not fall?
Isn't that interesting?
Ultimately, fate shall serve as your only guide, no matter what will happen in Teyvat's future. All you need to do is to play your part.
Okay, what is my part then? Could it be that even if the prophecy will be fulfilled, there will still be a way to save everyone? Did I miss something? Wait, I forgot about Furina. What was it that she wanted to say to me at the last moment in that giant magic box? What is her real secret?
What's happening with the oratories?
I believe it is preparing to carry out the death sentence.
Furina!
No, Furina.
No, I still need answers.
For some reason, I've come to become very fond of Furina as a character. Tears of the Kingdom. Whoa. Is that the Tear of the Kingdom? Ooh. It looks like Furina was in a cool outfit there. Please give me back control just for a moment, if need be. This video, I feel like, has been going on far too long. Ooh, bare feet. I am Furina.
You?
Yes, it is I. Well, she has a lower voice. She's androgynous, too.
Sorry. That shocked expression on your face is just too amusing. I couldn't help myself.
You are not Furina. Who are you?
I am the Hydro Archon.
Ah, the sweet sound of bewilderment. Marvelous. A sure sign that my attempt to deceive everyone was a resounding success. But to answer your question, I am Focalor. You know, the god.
Focalor? Why did you deceive us?
She has such a nice sounding voice.
Oh, that wasn't my goal, of course. Goodness, no. But I had to fool everyone else too, if I was to stand any chance of deceiving the heavenly principles.
What? We got smited by the heavenly principle, and we lost our brother, or we didn't, like, he didn't die. We like lost contact with him.
Deceiving the heavenly principles.
It's all because of that pernicious prophecy. Dreadful, wasn't it? Everyone doomed to dissolve. Fontaine condemned to be flooded. One was not amused. In fact, one was positively bemused when that problem was thrust upon me by my dearest predecessor. That's the former Hydro Archon Egeria, for the uninitiated. It hardly gets more disastrous than a preordained national catastrophe, now does it? She knew full well that the prophecy would surely come to pass. And as one of the seven, she also knew full well that one defies the heavenly principles at one's peril. So yes, as you have no doubt surmised, it was a rather impossible situation that I found myself in. I spent a terribly long time mulling it over, alone on the ocean floor. And I was almost growing barnacles by the time I finally realized there was only one possible solution to this confounding conundrum.
Explain.
I had to outwit the heavenly principles, allow the prophecy to be fulfilled, ostensibly at least, while saving everyone at the same time. I'm a genius, I know. I can only assume that's why Egeria chose me as her successor. Although, looking back now, it was hardly the inheritance one dreams of. Between the task of saving the nation, the quotidian duties of the Hydro Archon, and not to mention the original sin of creating a new race of humans, I dare say she left me quite a colossal mess to clean up. But one can only play the hand one is dealt. I did not choose this, any more than I chose to be one of her Oceanid familiars.
So you were also once one of the Oceanids, transformed into a human by Egeria's hand.
Yes, I was. I always dreamed of becoming human. And I still do, even now. In my eyes, to be human is to be part of the greatest opera ever known. After becoming a god, I separated my divinity from my body and spirit.
Okay.
Leaving behind only a self that was as naive and bewildered as my past self on her first day as a human being. The me you see before you now is that divinity. And the human counterpart I left behind, I named Furina. She could feel joy, sorrow, and everything in between. She could be as vain and conceited, or as meek and vulnerable as she wished. Her strengths were of a kind only a human could possess, as were her shortcomings. But in my eyes, Furina's humanity was what made her perfect. She was perfectly human in every way. The person I always wanted to be. Anyway, so then I cursed her. All part of the plan, of course. The plan to deceive the heavenly principles. Do you still remember the final scene of the prophecy? The Hydro Archon alone, weeping on her throne. In order that the prophecy might appear fulfilled, I invited Furina to be an actress, to play the part of the Hydro Archon in the prophecy. Under the curse I placed on her, so long as I, Focalor's divinity, continued to exist, she could not die. But nor was she free to live her life in the pursuit of happiness. Instead, she was forced to take the stage in the opera house, to embrace the role of leading lady, to forever play the part of the god from the prophecy, all to create a deceitful appearance of that prophecy coming to pass. I suppose now you probably understand why your court is called the Opera Epiclese.
But Furina is only human, isn't she? Even though she has had a long life, her mind is no stronger than that of any other ordinary human being. I cannot begin to fathom what she has had to endure. It must have been torture for her.
It has indeed. And although she is, in a sense, me in human form, I most definitely owe her an apology for it. It's been 500 years, and all along, she's been playing her part in the most unimaginably long, unbearably lonely, and agonizingly painful opera of all time.
Oh no, Furina. I came into contact with Furina's tears? If I remember correctly, tears often contains a being's strongest emotions. With sufficiently strong hydrosensitivity, I can form an emotional connection, just like I did with that Oceanid at the Fountain of Lucine. Wait, could this be Furina's inner world? Furina, what is she doing on stage? Wait a moment. That probably isn't Furina. That's likely a reflection of her inner self. If I can directly speak to that self, I might be able to easily get what I wanted to know. I came here for answers. Either way, this opportunity is not to be missed. Let me try talking to her. Do I get to control my character now? Alright. I finally have control. And this is where I will be ending things. What does this say now? The Opera of Noirtier and Blanchir. And yeah. Oh man, that was pretty intense. A lot has happened. This video has dragged out a bit longer than I wanted, but that's okay, I guess. I'd rather things kind of end at a good beat. A place where I can pause and kind of reflect on how I feel about things and everything. And not just abruptly end things. I'd rather that than have it abruptly end or the next video starting in like middle of something. That'll make things a bit awkward. But yeah, well, thanks for watching. I hope to see you in the next one where we will talk to Furina and see what's up. How is this story gonna progress? How does this story end? How does Ocelor defy the heavenly principles? We'll find out, hopefully, in the next one. Alrighty, I gotta go now. Goodbye.